Thank you, Speaker Rogers. Good to see you. That has a nice ring to it. I rise today to address the concern that faces the United States Congress, one that it has avoided and neglected for more than 54 years. Richard Nixon was the last president to enhance Social Security. That was in 1971. All of us are concerned on both sides of the aisle, but concern is no substitute for action. And it's long overdue that Congress takes a vote on behalf of the American people. Social Security is more than a pension program. And I think the American public knows it and is getting aroused because, well, there's 70 million Americans that are on Social Security and 10,000 baby boomers a day become eligible for Social Security. For example, Mr. Speaker, in your district alone, you have over 175,000 Social Security recipients. And it's broken down into those who receive pensions, those who get spousal benefits, those who get widow benefits, children, and of course, disabilities. More veterans rely on Social Security disability than they do on the VA. But here's the other key thing, and we don't emphasize this enough. Social Security is the best economic development program that we have in the country. Every district, on average, gets over $200 million coming into that district on a weekly basis. So imagine, on a monthly basis. And can you imagine, where do they spend that money? Nobody gets wealthy on Social Security, that's for sure. But that money goes right back into the economy. And so it becomes something that Congress hasn't adjusted since 1971. Now, I think a few things everyone would acknowledge have happened to the economy since 1971. But certainly for Congress to neglect its responsibility, and you can point fingers every way, but the bottom line is Congress needs to act. Congress needs to vote. President Trump has called for tax cuts for people on Social Security. I applaud him. We've had tax cuts in our proposal for the last decade, but there has been no action on that. But the difference between what we're proposing and what President Trump is proposing is that we pay for ours, because if you don't pay for it, what you end up doing is bankrupting the Social Security Fund. Still, the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and the #1 anti-poverty program for children. But this economic development piece is something, again, that all of us ought to be able to embrace. I provide every member of Congress with a card that will demonstrate how many recipients you have and how much money comes into your district on a monthly basis. And for us meaning the United States Congress, it's the only body that can act. President can't do it through executive order. The Supreme Court isn't going to take it up. Only the United States Congress can. Inaction means the fund will be cut. Unpaid action means the fund will be cut drastically. Imagine, Mr. Speaker, there's more than 5 million people that get a below poverty level check from Social Security, having paid in all their lives. That was not the guarantee that they signed up for. And there's close to 35 million people in total, 35 million fellow Americans. This is the only benefit they have. Again, testing to the great vision and leadership of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, knowing that this is actually the safety net of capitalism. This allows people to take risks, because even if people were to fail, there is something there to catch them and help them and their families through this. But Congress has not acted since 1971. Now, some will say, no, wait a minute. Didn't Tip O'Neill? Yes, they did. Tip O'Neill got together. It was primarily led by Senator Bob Dole. We got together with Ronald Reagan, who was adamantly opposed to Social Security, but Dole convinced him, no, this is the right thing to do. So what they did is they extended the solvency of Social Security to its current position. Not as long as it should have been, but nonetheless, it was an action that went in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, I know you to be a man of goodwill and integrity, and I hope this is something that we can bring up and work to get this done on behalf of the American people. And with that, I yield back.
Gentleman from Connecticut yields back. The chair